team. Cowboys. And who I'm rolling with.
Welcome to another episode of Classic Cowboys Talk. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Jesus Christ died and he rose again. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I saw this. And I saw this post by somebody I follow. And hold on. Give me a second to find it. Alright, there he goes. Took me no whole time. Okay. But by the way, I was scrolling on social media and I was seeing some posts about the U.S. men's soccer team in the World Cup. And I saw a post that had Matt Eberflus as when he was the Cowboys defensive coordinator last year. And it had a picture of him, and the post read, the U.S. men's national team defense. And it had a picture of picture of Matt Eberflus. Because the U.S. men's national team was just performing that bad, okay? So, and I remember I posted something that said, somehow the Dallas Cowboys find their way into something that has nothing to do with them, okay? So, yeah. I don't see what the U.S. men's national team, soccer team has to do with the Dallas Cowboys, but the memes I saw, they were funny though. I will admit that. Okay, so I saw this a post by Angry Cowboys fan. He posted some of these Cowboys fans act as if they didn't live through the Quincy Carter days, and it shows. Okay, so that inspired. So I went back and I read some stuff on the Quincy Carter era. Okay, and it began in 2001. Okay, so Troy Aikman had just retired. Okay, Troy Aikman had just retired. But I think the primary issue was this: we had traded away 2 first rounders for Joey Galloway, so we couldn't select Michael Vick in the first round. Okay. Instead, we went to training camp 2001 with Tony Banks, who didn't even make it out of training camp. I might add, Tony Banks, I repeat, who did not make it out of training camp. Okay. And we also had Clint Stoner, Anthony Wright, Ryan Leaf. Okay. And Quincy Carter. Yeah. I was reading something. He was a second round pick despite low ratings from many draft analysts, had emerged as a starter. Jerry Jones liked Carter because he thought the speedy back came from the same mold as Michael Vick. That's what Jerry Jones was thinking back in 2001. Yeah, that's what Jerry Jones was thinking back in 2001. Jerry wanted to have a fast passing and running quarterback. That was Quincy, a team insider said. The scouts made sure everyone knew he was Jerry's pick because at the first practice, Quincy Carter couldn't hit his receivers on a curlback. That was Quincy Carter. So as a result of those quarterbacks we had, Quincy Carter, Clint Stoner, Anthony Wright, we started the season 0-4. We started the season 0-4. Yeah. And so in a game against San Diego, Quincy Carter was injured, had a sprained thumb. Anthony Wright came in, went 12 for 295 with 193 yards passing. Okay. Lost to the San Diego Chargers. Okay. Quincy Carter went 1 for 5 versus the Raiders at the Coliseum. Then Anthony Wright came in again. Still lost 28 to 21. After a bye week to start. Wait a second. So they defeated the Washington Redskins. Okay. They did defeat the Redskins. Clint Stoner. The quarterbacks that the Cowboys had. Lord have mercy. That's all you can say. To all my old head Cowboy fans, that's all you can say. Lord have mercy. Clint Stoner went all the way in the 17-3 win over Arizona. Was pulled against the Giants. After throwing his 4th interception. Ryan Leaf came in. Giants won 27-24 anyway. Ryan Leaf started against the Falcons, facing against Michael Vick. Cowboys lost. Leaf started against the Eagles, threw a pick 6. He again led the team against the Denver Broncos. I believe that was a Thanksgiving Day game. We lost that game. Quincy Carter returned. Led the Cowboys to a 2014 win versus the Redskins. 27-21 upset of the San Francisco 49ers in the next to last game of the year. Then we lost to the Detroit Lions in the last game of the year. Detroit, who was 1-14 that year. Okay, Detroit was 1-14 that year, and we proceeded to lose the last game to a 1-14 team. That's the Quincy Carter era. Okay. Then came the 2002 season. Out of all the embarrassing losses that the Cowboys have had, I think the opening day 2002 loss to the Texans, I think that ranks unequivocally the number one embarrassing loss. Okay. The number one embarrassing loss in Cowboys history. It has to rank number one, okay? And I've read about the embarrassing losses. I've seen some embarrassing losses. The time we lost 44-0 at home to the Bears. Okay, in 1985, okay? The 85 Bears, okay? The time Troy Aikman was sacked 11 times against the Eagles in 1991, okay? Dak Prescott getting sacked 6 times against the Falcons in 2017. That was pretty embarrassing. The 44-6 loss to the Eagles, last game of the year, 2008, was pretty embarrassing. But number one had to be losing to the expansion Texans, opening day 2002. Unacceptable. And so,
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
excuse me for a second. Alexa, no.
Here are some results.
See that? See that? Getting interrupted by Alexa. Anyway, back to the topic at hand, okay? So, Cowboys went 3 straight years at 5-11 under Dave Campo, bringing in Bill Parcells, who was the new head man in town. And anybody who knows Bill Parcells does not play. Does not play.
Introduce Bill Parcells, the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
I'd like to thank Jerry for the opportunity to return to the National Football League.
A 2-time Super Bowl champion, Parcells brought his winning formula to Dallas.
Well, we will practice this afternoon now, boys. Don't test my patience this afternoon. I can tell. I can already tell. I can already tell. Give me another quarterback in there. Let's go. Tell you what, we ain't going to have a bad practice this afternoon. We're not having it. I promise you. You're going to be tired of me. Oh, you're going to be tired of me.
Parcells clearly made it known there was a new sheriff in town.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, start taking control of what's going on around here. Sit. Straight. That's it. Go. Score. That's good running there now. There you go. That's it. That's the way to compete. There you go. You guys can rush if you want to. And now, fellas, we won't keep working here. We got work to do. It's obvious. Any of you should see it.
The 2003 regular season began as a homecoming for Bill Parcells. The Cowboys' first road game was at Giants Stadium, where Parcells had coached for 14 seasons. This was a business trip. For Bill Parcells, business means winning. The Cowboys had the look of a Bill Parcells team. Their defense was fast, physical, and opportunistic.
Collins back 5 steps and sets and stands and looks and throws it over the middle, intercepted by Singleton at the 40, right to the 30. And Al Singleton, the former Buccaneers. And let me show you how we did it in Florida.
A Monday night TV audience saw the Cowboys reborn. The disappointment of 3 straight losing seasons gave way to dogged determination as the Cowboys took the Giants to overtime. They won the game on a record-tying 7th field goal by Billy Cundiff.
Going to hold, snap is high, kick is away, the kick is good, the Cowboys win. In overtime, welcome home tonight.
Week 4, they would be tested by an old friend. The NFL's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith was back at Texas Stadium, but now he was wearing Cardinals red. He carried the ball just 6 times and finished with -1 yard.
Hand off Smith, boom, holy cow, Ecumon drilled him backwards along with Roy Williams, who blitzed and got him first. That is a shot heard around the world, wow.
It was the end of one era and the beginning of another.
And on first down, a handoff to Hamrick, pitch back to Carter, flea flicker, there's Galloway. He's all alone, but he's throwing down the post to Glenn. He caught it at the 5, walking in, touchdown Cowboys.
Yeah, so Bill Parcells had the Cowboys on the right track from early on, despite the fact we lost 27-13 to Atlanta opening day, okay? Without Michael Vick, okay? We had guys such as Avion Asen, Joey Galloway, Darren Woodson was still the veteran left over from the Jimmy Johnson years. Dexter Coakley, that win. Jason Witten was the rookie. So we had we had a pretty young team, and Parcells also brought in his guys, okay? There was like this Bill Parcells following that he had everywhere he went, okay? When he went to New England, his players from New York followed him. Okay. When he went to the Jets, his players from New England followed him. When he went to the Cowboys, his players from the Jets and Patriots followed him. Okay. So, but Quincy Carter, he threw for 268 yards on opening day against the Falcons. And the 35-32 overtime win. But I think the key play of that game was Zuriel Smith, okay? After the Giants had scored a touchdown to take the lead, the Giants kicked off, and Zuriel Smith made a really good play where he watched the ball roll out of bounds. As a result, the Cowboys got the ball at the 40. Quincy Carter hit Antonio Bryant. And Billy Cundiff sent the game into overtime, okay, where the Cowboys won it, okay. Yeah, and so that started off a real good stretch for the Dallas Cowboys, right there.
Dallas some veteran players he knew to provide leadership and production. Players like number 20 fullback Richie Anderson and wide receiver Terry Glenn, number 83. The Cowboys put together a 5-game winning streak, their longest winning streak in a decade.
Akers approaches the football. He kicks it and tries an onside kick. It's an onside kick to start the game. The Cowboys recover at the 35. Randall Williams running to the end zone. Touchdown, Dallas.
When they met the Carolina Panthers in Week 12, the Cowboys were 7-3, and once again a contender in the NFC.
It's not a crowd on hand here at Texas Stadium. In a big game for both teams. We'll see who wins it today.
The win would ensure the Cowboys of at least a 500 finish for the first time since 1999.
Blitz is on, the long rush. Hit, the ball comes flying up to the air. Roy Williams intercepted at the 40. It's a handoff to Anderson, who options left to Kaysen at the 20 to the 15 to the 10. And he cuts in behind the block downfield. Touchdown, Cowboys.
This was by far the best win. I'm just proud of them. Okay, you're not going to be able to call them losers anymore. We might not be winners, but we're not losers anymore. One more, and then you have to call us winners at least.
After back-to-back losses to Miami and Philadelphia, the Cowboys traveled to Washington, needing a victory to keep their playoff hopes alive.
And Carter back and sets it, throws a middle screen to Anderson. Trying to slip up the middle, he does. Right to the 10. Anderson to the goal line. Touchdown, Cowboys.
The Cowboys dominated their division rivals, handing the Redskins their first home shutout defeat in a decade. Rookie Terrence Newman led the way, tying a team record with 3 interceptions in one game.
Intercepted by Newman, his third. It's a hat trick for Newman.
The following week, the Cowboys returned home with a chance to clinch a playoff berth with a win over the New York Giants.
3-step drop by Carter. Back now. Rolls right. Throws down the middle. He's got Witten all alone at the 4. And Jason Witten rolls in for a 36-yard touchdown. And the Cowboys are going back to the playoffs.
In just one season, the Cowboys had gone from the bottom of the NFC East to a wild card berth in the playoffs.
Yeah. Cowboys shut out the Redskins at home. Terrence Newman, the rookie, coming into his own. Had 3 interceptions that game, right? So after the Monday night game where he threw for 321 yards, okay, Carter only passed for 165 yards versus the Jets. Cowboys won 17-6. Had a 2-touchdown game, 277-yard game to lead the Cowboys past the Arizona Cardinals, which Emmitt Smith got knocked out of the game, right? Only had a 146 passing yards against the Philadelphia Eagles, and a 23-21 win, which our defense led the way. 190 yards against the Detroit Lions, which we won 37-7. Okay, and they finished 10-6. But they could have finished 11-5 if Terry Glenn did not fall down. Okay, while he was running a route against the Saints in the last game of the year. So, yeah. But Quincy Carter finished the year with 17 interceptions. Quincy Carter had 17 touchdowns and 21 interceptions that year. Okay. Quincy Carter had 17 touchdowns and 21 interceptions that year. Okay. So there was this feeling that when Bill Parcells came to the Cowboys that he didn't like Quincy Carter one bit. Okay. And so Quincy Carter failed a drug test in training camp next year. And Benny Testaverde was brought in. But I read somewhere, or I was watching one of those Deep Blue documentaries, okay? When Benny Testaverde was brought in, it was said that Quincy Carter viewed him as a threat. Yeah. It was said that when Benny Testaverde was brought in, Quincy Carter viewed him as a threat, when only Benny Testaverde was there as a veteran presence to give some veteran leadership to Carter, Romo, and Chad Hutchinson, or Drew Henson, whoever it may have been on the roster back then, okay? But Testaverde was there as a leader, there as a veteran leader for Quincy Carter and Tony Romo. And it was said that Tony Romo soaked up as much knowledge from Benny Testaverde as he possibly could. Okay. But Quincy Carter, some say he viewed Testaverde as a threat. Carter fails the drug test. Carter gets released. There were some people in the organization who felt that's what Bill Parcells wanted to do ever since the day he got to Dallas, because he was allegedly no fan of Quincy Carter. Okay. Yeah. And what did I just say? 17 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. I don't know. Nah. I don't think that's going to cut it with Bill Parcells. Okay. And so, Quincy Carter ended up getting a boot. But if Quincy Carter doesn't get cut, I don't think Tony Romo will ever see the field. Ever. If Quincy Carter doesn't get hit cut, Tony Romo will never see the field. At least I think that, because look at me having a brain fart. I just had a brain fart. If Quincy Carter didn't view Benny Testaverde as a threat and he hadn't felt that drug test, okay, Quincy would probably still be there for another couple of years, and Tony Romo will probably be in New Orleans with Sean Payton, okay? Because it was said that when Sean Payton took the Saints job, right, Sean Payton offered a third-round pick for Tony Romo. So when Sean Payton became head coach of the Saints, he wanted to take Tony Romo with him to New Orleans, where obviously he would have probably been backing up Drew Brees in New Orleans, okay? Think about that for a second. What if Sean Payton had taken Tony Romo with him to New Orleans to back up Drew Brees, okay? Tony Romo would probably be a Super Bowl champion right now, right? And Sean Payton offered a third-round pick for Tony Romo, but Jerry Jones said, Jerry Jones actually did something smart there. Okay, he kept Tony Romo. Smart move, Jerry. Smart move. But yeah, Quincy Carter era didn't go too well. All right, that's it, and that's all for Classic Dallas Cowboys talk. I am out of here. May God bless you all. Peace.
Who?
Cowboys.
What's my blue and gray team?
Cowboys.
And who I'm rolling with, huh?
My Cowboys.
Steelers better get it right. Giants better get it right. Who?
Cowboys.
What's my blue and gray team?
Cowboys.
And who I'm rolling with, huh?
My Cowboys.
Eagles better get it right. Skins better get it right.